So you're
Yeah,
telling me that recruiters are guessing.
most of the time, yeah. Some recruiters go above and beyond,
Hmm.
but majority of the time they're just looking for the right keywords.
Hello, guys. This is Launching 5, Episode 3 was Joshua. Recently, we got in contact through Ron from Venture Bellevue Mechanics, right?
Venture mechanics.
Venture Mechanics. So, Joshua, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hi, so yeah, my name is Joshua Ahmed. I'm an engineer that used to work at Lockheed Martin. I spent about 5 years there,
Nice.
where I got most of my inspiration for this. Then I worked at Boeing for about 2 years.
Well,
At first, I worked on the F-35 program for Lockheed, so I built fighter jets, and then I did satellite stuff for about 2 years before I started this and did my own startup.
I'm going to call you Mr. Classified from now on.
Yeah, I had those. Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. So, tell me a little bit more about what you're building. Well, what's the name of your startup?
My startup, my company is called Real Engineers, no space.
Real Engineers, no space.
Yeah.
Okay. So, tell me about Real Engineers in one sentence, pretty much.
It is the Google translator between engineers and recruiters.
Google Translator between, okay, engineers and recruiters. So, why do we need a Google Translator between engineers and recruiters?
Yeah. So we need it because in most companies that after an engineer finishes their degree that they want to get into, you're talking about Amazon, where I used to work, like Lockheed, and even most medium-sized companies.
Hmm.
When they hire engineers, the first person you have to impress, or that has to at least believe that you're qualified to do the job, is a recruiter.
Hmm.
And recruiters aren't engineers themselves; they
Right.
don't have engineering degrees, so they usually just bring it down to just guessing. They're looking for the right words. They don't know that a Raspberry Pi is a single board computer, not a actual pie with raspberries in it. Things like that.
That is crazy. So, you're
Yeah.
telling me that recruiters are guessing.
Most of the time, yeah. Some recruiters go above and beyond,
Hmm.
but majority of the time they're just looking for the right keywords.
Hmm.
And that's why you get all the advice from your college people. It's like you got to make sure you get the right keywords. But if
Right.
you're an engineer, you're all like, I did that, but I actually did something a little more unique. But the moment you go unique, the recruiters doesn't know what you're saying, and so they kick you out, or at least push you out of the being in the top 10 that the hiring manager would get to see and actually understand what you're doing. So it's effectively like one side speaking Japanese and the other side speaking Spanish. That's effectively what's going on.
That is a massive problem.
Yeah.
I know many engineering friends who, if they heard this, they would get quite mad.
That was my first reaction too when I first learned, when I first graduated. Yeah.
So, how did you even find this? How did you find this problem?
At first, I didn't care. Like, I graduated in college in 2018,
Hmm.
and I had my bachelor's in mechanical engineering and my emphasis on mechatronics, which is the old name for robotics.
Hmm.
It's still around today. It's still pretty big. But I started getting a job, and I was just like, hey, what's going on? Why am I having a hard time? I know I'm done impressive things, and then I would hear the classic job advice: make sure your keywords are right, make sure your resume is perfect. And then I slowly realized there's no such thing as a perfect resume. The moment you make a perfect resume for one job, it's bad for another.
Hmm.
And yeah, I had a hard time getting a job. That was my first real instance of facing this problem. And long story short, I went to this event where I had to talk to the recruiter first and then the hiring manager. And I had my spiel ready, like, hey, look at all this impressive stuff. All the recruiters rejected me until
Wow.
finally I went up to line and there was one recruiter. I was like, all right, might as well. Got 100 no's today. What's one more?
All right.
And the recruiter had to go to the bathroom. So they let the hiring manager come in and talk to me, and I said the same exact thing. And the hiring manager said, "Wow, that's really impressive."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I got that, and that's how I landed my first job. And I was like, "What is going on?" The only difference was that I just got lucky, and I got to skip the recruiter who
Yeah.
none of the keywords didn't match because I was trying to be impressive. Like, why wouldn't you be? You did
Yeah.
cool stuff. But I didn't do anything then. I just noticed it. It was like this is really bad. I can't believe it works like this.
Yeah.
And then at Lockheed, I was a hiring manager, so now I'm on the other side of the table.
Hmm.
So now I'm hiring people. And to be specific, I was the tech person, so I would be the one reviewing, like, do you have the tech skills? I want to do the payrolls, and then I would work with the recruiters. And I had so many instances I'm all like, you don't know what you're talking about.
All
Like,
right.
Like this example never happened, but it explains the problem well. Like if you know Newton,
Mm-hmm.
his equations are the gravity equation. So I'll
Right.
write a job description that says I'm looking for someone who's an expert in gravity.
Yeah.
And then the recruiter will say, "Well, we rejected this guy because he said he knows the Newton equations, not gravity." And you're just
Uh,
like, "What?"
that's crazy. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And then everybody just turns around and is like, "Well, it's his fault. He should have put gravity instead of Newton." Right? It's like,
Yeah.
and everybody accepts that, and I don't think that should be the case because that's what makes that engineer unique. He focused on Newtonian because there's 100 other equations for gravity,
Right.
but he focused on those, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
he didn't focus on orbital mechanics. He didn't focus on relativity. He focused on the Newtonian ones. And the moment he said, "I'm unique in this way," he gets rejected, right? So I don't think the world should be like that.
Hmm. Sounds like okay. Can you explain a little bit how your solution works? Because yeah.
Yeah. So the way my solution works is when engineers jump on, the biggest difference is they cannot upload resumes.
Okay.
They need to upload what they actually have done, like capstone projects on their final year, any sort of work. If they built anything, like the
Right. Right.
schematics, the drawings, whatever actual engineering work, that's not one bullet point on a resume. So you cannot upload resumes.
Yeah.
And then all you do is you share the link, just like you do with the GitHub link or a LinkedIn link. And
Mm-hmm.
when you apply to jobs, you just say, "Hey, recruiter, use this to figure out how good I am." And so that's where the real value comes in. So instead of the engineer having to explain, "Hey, hold on, don't kick me out. Newton is the guy who discovered gravity, the
Right. Right.
famous story." My system does that for them. And it goes, "Hey, recruiter, hold on. On page 4 of project this,
Mm.
that engineer did the Newtonian equations, which are the same as the gravity equations. Please don't kick them out."
Yeah.
And it helps them effectively like a translator so they understand, oh, okay. So they don't have to be experts anymore, and it gives the engineer an advantage. Is like, oh, okay, this is how it's similar, even though they use none of the same words, which
Right.
I've seen before, and is actually able to make way better decisions on who gets hired and who doesn't. It's basically so they don't have to guess anymore.
They don't have the guess. And it also makes the resume not the end all be all.
Yeah, it's not the end all be all. Yeah,
That is huge. That is like
yeah.
so. How come this problem was there for so long and no one seen it?
It's all. In fact, it's so much in as part of the world is that I've noticed like even hiring managers and a lot of older engineers, they've just resigned to the problem. It's like it's just how the world works.
Oh,
They don't even see it as a problem anymore. It's just it's just how way the world works, and the reason is because the hiring manager who makes a final decision, right?
mm-hmm.
They're just too busy. They can't do the whole hiring, right? So if
Mm.
you work at like a big company like Lockheed, I used to, when you write the job description, you give it to the HR/tech recruiting people, we automatically get 1,000 jobs,
Mm.
right? The hiring manager who has the engineering degree, who can review, who's going to make the final, he can't review all 1,000. It's just too much.
Right, right.
His main job is not to hire. His main job is to, his or her main job is to do the engineering,
Okay.
right? So in order to do all the other work that comes with hiring, like going on LinkedIn and inviting people to hire who seem good, and figuring out who the 990 who's going to get kicked out, and so much other work that goes into hiring, including paperwork and stuff, all that falls under the recruiter. And so all that work together, and the selection process is why it has to be that way, because no hiring manager has the time to do all of that. Their main job is still engineering.
That is
Yeah.
that's wild. So hiring engineers are not doing the hiring part of their title
They just, well,
because they're busy.
their title isn't usually hiring manager. Their
Okay.
title is senior electrical engineer.
Okay.
They're like the leaders of their teams.
Mm.
They're part of their job when they need to grow the team is hiring,
Okay.
but they're never hiring. Their title is never
No.
hiring manager. Yeah, they're
Okay.
like senior mechanical engineer, right?
Right. 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 Okay. Makes sense. So I can imagine. So, hmm, where are you, like, in terms of your business? What stage are you, and pretty much all that.
Yeah, we just released our closed beta just
Okay.
a month or so ago,
Nice.
and so we are only inviting a select set of engineers now. We're looking for our next batch of like 30 to 50 engineers, and
Okay.
we're looking for engineers who've done something, right? Since you can't upload a resume, you have to have done something,
Right.
and uh, and we're trying to see if we can make success stories out of them. right? Like what I'm looking for is like out of this batch of engineers that comes in, I want a real story of like, look, this recruiter, I've never met them before, but because of real engineers, it was able to explain that Newton is the person who discovered gravity and their equations are the same.
Mm-hmm.
That I should be qualified without an engineer not having to explain themselves. Like I'm
Right.
trying to collect those success stories, and yeah, I'm looking for my first batch. So I'm looking to make all of them
Success story.
success stories. Yeah.
So you heard that. Like, if you're a student at UW, T, or UW, any of them, link in the description if you want to be one of the success stories. Yeah, pretty much. So, dang, there's like a that's like a lot of one problem that's been there super long. I'm still shocked that people just kept on saying that that's how the world works. But other than that, how do you make money from your
Yeah.
yeah?
So right now we are just focused on product market fit in the startup world.
Okay.
So we're just making sure, can we deliver the value we think we deliver?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but in the long run, engineers is always going to be completely free. We want to make you success stories. Um, and then as we get more mature, the way we're going to make money is that the recruiters, every time they basically use us to translate,
Mm-hmm.
and they pay us. So it's based on usage. Like there'll be like a little free tier, and then after that, it's like, okay, you're translating so much through our site. You then it becomes a paid tier.
Okay. So free for engineers.
Yep.
That's huge plus. College students are known to be broke.
Yeah.
So okay. Hmm. Dang. And you've been working on this for how many months now?
I started full time working on this in February.
Wow. Okay. Hmm. Is there any question that you felt like I haven't asked you?
That's a good question. No, I think that was I think that was very thorough. I can't think of anything right now. Yeah.
Okay. Hmm. And what have you been doing for like marketing?
So right now we're in closed beta.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we I have a marketing intern that helps me bring in select engineers, and it worked out very good for them.
Okay.
So now we're trying to expand it and expand it and expand it. So, but right now it's been very
Okay.
word of mouth based growth, and on the recruiter side as well. Just going the next stage. We're accepting bigger and bigger batches. So I've been growing it super small, and then one step at a time, getting it bigger because I want to make sure like everybody that comes in actually gets some value out of it. Um, I'm not in order for this to be valuable. Everybody has to come in. It's like, okay, this was really useful. It translated this for me, and then they leave.
Hmm.
Right. If I just focused on getting 1,000 people in here and only one or two of them get value,
Okay.
yeah. So
You
that's my
want
strategy.
that's a great strategy.
Yeah.
Trying to make every single one of them get value,
Yeah.
pretty much. And how many success stories have you had? And yeah.
So right now, from our small batch of like 28 to 30 engineers, they're still using it. We've had about 6 or 7 success stories, and they're all around like the Newton one was a good example, but this is not nothing like that happened. There's another Bernoulli's one,
Hmm.
just like Newton, like
Yeah.
Bernoulli's. He did fluid dynamics, and the recruiter was going to kick him out. But my
Yeah.
system was like, "Hey, don't kick him out." The Raspberry Pi was another real one.
Wow. Okay.
Um, and the recruiter was joking around. I was like, "Why are they talking about pies like, and raspberry?" Right? And we're like, "No,
Right.
it's a micro. It's a little computer board."
Right.
And you asked for someone who's expert in small computer boards and microcontrollers and things like that. And so our system was able to translate it. So those are like the translation errors basically that we're catching,
Hmm.
and so those engineers are doing very good now. Yeah.
Hmm. That's much better than like 1,000 applications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a
Cool.
lot more about like the job you want,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And for those engineers, like the reason they were all like, okay, yeah, I would use it again when I look for my next job is because they don't have to explain that when they're talking about Raspberry Pis, they're not actually talking about pies, right? Like before, if just that single word mess up,
That's
and they
it.
would
Yeah.
be out, right? And then my system just went, hold on, recruiter, don't kick them out yet. This is why.
Dang. You're really saving. Like you're helping people's lives. Honestly. for um for a college student who recently graduated and they have a hard time finding a job, they have to legit stall their life plans until they get that job.
Right.
Yeah,
And then you do what I find most frustrating about the world is that the advice you're given in college is okay, yeah, make sure your keywords are perfect, make sure your resume is perfect. But the moment you do that, you become everybody's doing that. Like,
right, yeah, yeah.
right. So everything unique about you is washed away
Mm,
because you're trying to match the job description.
right,
So on the other side, as a hiring manager, what it becomes frustrating is like, all right, now I have 10 resumes that are supposedly the best.
right,
They all look the same. I can't tell anything different because they all made the resume perfect
right, right.
to the job. Like, and so there probably is something unique about them, but the moment they said it, the recruiter would have kicked them out. So
Mm,
everybody looks the same, right? And that's the most frustrating part because then I'm forced to make awful decisions like, okay, this guy had a point 0.1 better GPA,
right.
right? Like I hated doing that. I was like, that's not fair to anybody. Like point 0.1 GPA means nothing, right?
It really doesn't.
And then the worst part is like, okay, now you have to pick between schools. Like I don't want to do that.
Right,
But so many companies are forced to do that because they only have a set amount of money, they only have a set amount of interviews they can do. But it sucks because you have to hide your uniqueness to get the interview,
right.
and then
You just look like one of
and
the
then you just
masses.
look like everybody else. So it becomes a game of luck. It really does. It's just basically winning the lottery, and that's why you have to submit 1,000 applications. If you buy 1,000 lottery tickets, you're bound to hit one, right?
Right, right,
So I'm making this where like your uniqueness is what gets you hired, and
right.
you don't have to explain your uniqueness either. Like we do, if you can prove it, we can explain it.
That is awesome. So first off, you hit really like a few great quotes. Like getting hired is like the lottery,
Yeah,
right? That's and also your uniqueness. We can explain it, right?
yeah.
So
Like
that
as
is.
long as you have something that you can give us that says, "Here's proof
Hmm.
that I can do what I say I do,"
Hmm.
we'll like do the explaining for you.
That's awesome. Wow. So if if there were any students at UW or UW-T who would want to help you, is there any possible way they could help you?
Yes, if you know someone or if you are one who's trying to break into the job market, even summer internship, your first job,
Mhm.
your co-op, whatever, and you're applying, just ask to join our beta.
And for to like, can you explain quite who's your exact customer fit?
Oh, right, yeah. So actually, right now we're just for hardware engineers. So if you're
Okay.
mechanical, electrical, any of those derivatives,
Hmm.
it's for you. Uh, not for software right now because there's a lot of work that goes in the back end of interpreting that data and being able to translate that correctly.
Okay.
So if you're any one of those like big majors like mechanical, electrical, chemical, environmental, any one of those engineers, and you're ready for your first internship, co-op, job, this would be perfect for you. Yeah. Like in order to help me, I mean, I would say help yourself by just
Oh
letting us
wow,
translate. Yeah.
that's cool. Help yourself in order to help me. That's great.
Yeah.
And in terms of who are the hiring like who are you targeting on the employer side?
Yeah. Right now, we're really targeting recruiters,
Hmm.
and they're usually either the recruiting teams of these big companies,
Yeah.
like I said, like Lockheed and Boeing's right here, right? Amazon, that hire those kind of engineers. So
Hmm.
they're the recruiting teams, and there's also like all these third party recruiters that get paid by those big companies, and even not just those big companies. There's even like mid sized companies
Right. Right. Right.
that do those. That pay the recruiters to go find people for them.
Hmm.
Uh, those recruiters are the ones who are targeting.
Have you thought about like sending someone a part of your team to career fairs?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We totally plan to do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, dang. Well.
and more interestingly, the way our system works is that an engineer, when
Hmm.
they make a real engineer's account, they get a link,
Okay.
just like a LinkedIn link. And so when they go to a career fair, instead of having to explain it, they can just give that recruiter the link. And again, it's like Google Translate,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah. Yeah.
basically like pulling up. Like if you guys
Mm,
are speaking two different languages, like all right, Google Translator, this is
yeah.
what I mean, and
They see it.
yeah,
That is awesome. And yeah, for sure. That is wow. You're helping a lot of people. Like a lot of people start startups, and I don't see it exactly as helping, but you're very much helping. So thank you for your time.
Thank
Honestly,
you. I appreciate
thank
this.
you. It was nice finally getting to meet you
Yeah,
and talk to you.
absolutely.
Yeah. So this is the end of episode 3.